In case if you guys have any questions, just drop a message in the chat box, and I will try to respond it from there. And in case if any difficulties in hearing or any other issue, just raise your hand, please. So yeah, welcome everyone to Global Azure Virtual Event 2020. So my name is Keshav, and today I'm gonna talk on monitoring and managing the hybrid infrastructure with Azure Monitor and Azure Automation. So before we start a session, a quick introduction around myself. So I hold around 12 years of experience in IT infrastructure management. Right now, I'm working in a DXC technology as a senior professional system engineer. Prior to this, I work in a Microsoft GTSC for around 7.5 years, and there we worked upon Azure IaaS, Azure Monitor, Azure Automation, and other monitoring and the system center tools. I started my career as an application packaging engineer, where we developed the Windows installer packages using a Store Shield and the Orca and other tools. Uh, if you want to reach me out, you can reach me through my LinkedIn profile or through my Twitter account. So quick 2-3 slides around the why we need the digital transformation, what is the digital transformations, and about the monitoring. Maybe you feel like there is enough of non-technical discussion, but just bear with me for 3-4 minutes, and then we will move to the actual discussion. So now and then, like whenever we go to the staff call of a CEO or a CTO or a group call, a company-wide call, we always hear a term called digital transformation. So every company is just trying to adopt a digital transformation, and with the purpose of to do more with their infrastructure and to achieve more. So the digital transformation is ushering a new era of hybrid IT, where you can have a combination of cloud and the on-premises that will allow you to develop your solution, integrate an innovation in it, and meet your customers and goals. However, like when a company is spending a lot into the digital transformation, and if something goes down and cause a downtime, then it's gonna bring a bad news to the company, and even it can uh, impact their entire business. So think of a shopping site, and they are just selling the groceries, and during this time, if that site site goes down, then it's gonna create a panic everywhere. The user will panic, the company will panic, and it will definitely bring a bad name to the company. So it is very much essential to know your infrastructure and to keep an eye how it is running, and even if there is a possibility of any issues or anything else. So a quick introduction about hybrid infrastructure. I'm sure that everyone knows about the hybrid infrastructure, but just a 1 minute thing. So it's a combination of the private cloud or a public cloud or the on-premises data center. So nowadays, like we have a solution where or some components are hosted in the on-premises infrastructure, and some of them are running into the clouds, and all of them are glued together to make a hybrid infrastructure. And I'm sure like most of us have the key business systems of the company that are running on the hybrid cloud, that's like a link between the on premises and in the cloud infrastructure. So yeah, why we need the monitoring? So in a general, the monitoring is the act of collecting the telemetry and analyze that to check your performance, to check the performance data of your infrastructure, health, availability of the resource, and to know what all devices and applications makes up your applications, or what are the things which are running into the system. Keep an eye and just do a reporting, so that like you can predict the thing, or you can share your infrastructure details with someone else. But the big question is, in this present era, only monitoring is sufficient. If you go and tell someone that I have a solution that does the monitoring, uh, I'm sure the question you will get is your system only do the monitoring. What about if something goes wrong? Are you gonna simply alert somebody, or you have the capability of fixing that issues, or do you have the capability of building up the resiliency in the infrastructure? And what about other stuff, management, securities, updates, configuration, anything else like, or in a simple words, when something goes wrong, our system should have capability to trigger the automation and to fix the issues as soon as possible. Or if it's not able to fix the issue, then trigger a ticket into the service desk and assign it to a proper queue so that the right person can act upon it. So, so we are going to build up a smart solution using the Azure Monitor and the Azure Automation, which can do the easily monitoring of the infrastructure, as well as it will bring the automation and help you in doing the manageability. So why I am choosing the Azure Monitor is because Azure Monitor, I mean, if you compare the Azure Monitor with any other on-premises based tool or uh, any other tool, I find like Azure Monitor is very easy to configure, and you don't have any headache of managing the monitoring infrastructure. So if you talk about any monitoring infrastructure, you need a proper team who who will be doing the management of that monitoring tool, or uh, you need a, a bunch of people who is gonna install or manage or monitor the monitoring tool that does the monitoring of the infrastructure. However, when it comes to the Azure Monitor, it's in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about which anything about setting up the databases or anything else. Everything is in the cloud. It provides a very easy mechanism of collecting the telemetry from any kind of infrastructure. It can be a machine hosted into the AWS cloud or a Google cloud or any other cloud. It can help you in monitoring the machines which are running into the on-premises or on the Azure infrastructure or anywhere else. And it is very flexible. I mean, it can easily integrate with your DevOps solution or a ITSM solution or a SIEM or any other custom tools. So, okay, let's jump on the Azure Monitor workspace. How I said like it's very easy to configure it. So let me show you how easy it is to configure a Azure Monitor workspace. So if you guys familiar with the Azure, then it's just that you have to go to the Azure portal, and then from here you can easily create the Azure Log Analytics workspace. So before I go and create a log analytic workspace, I hope like everyone can hear to me. And I mean, in case if you have any question, just post your questions, please. Okay, so let me create a workspace for you. So simply you just have to go to the log analytics workspace, or you can just create it as a resource also. There are many ways of creating it. So I find this way is a very easier, but you can also create this as a uh, from here. So you just have to click on add and just fill up the name of the resource group where you want to host your uh, Azure Log Analytics workspace. So I'm gonna for now I will just host it into the resource group which I created for this event. So Global Azure Bootcamp, and I will just give it the name demo Global Azure VM, and then I will just host it into the East US. Choose the appropriate pricing and simply click on review and create, and it's gonna just deploy the workspace. So it's just that the just a 2 minute thing, and your monitoring infrastructure is ready. Your infrastructure is ready, which can do the monitoring. So as I said, like with this infrastructure, you can easily do the monitoring of the machine. So I will show you how you can do the monitoring, and I mean how easy it is to collect the telemetry data. So this deployment process hardly take 2 to 3 minutes. So we will not wait for this process to complete. I will use my existing workspace, which I created exclusively for this event. So this is the global Azure virtual LA, is the log analytics workspace, which I created here. So as I said, like to monitoring is quite easy with the Azure Monitor. So we just have to go to the uh, advanced settings, and if we want to set up the monitoring on of the on-premises machine or on the Azure, sorry, AWS VM, or the VM which is running in your local data center or anywhere else, you just have to download the client. Uh, it, you can download the client if your infrastructure is 60-bit or a 32-bit. Uh, you can download it accordingly, or we can do the monitoring of the Linux infrastructure as well. So I will quickly show how easy it is to download and how easy it is to just install. So you just need these two primary key and the workspace ID. And once your infrastructure is ready, you just run the setup. It's a very easy setup, just that 4 5 steps, and things will be ready for you. And I mean, this is a simple installation, so you can deploy it with the SCCM or Intune or any other tool. I mean, any other deployment tool if you want to do the uh, mass monitoring, or you can use the Azure DSC, or you can pre-build into the image of your infrastructure. Let this download. I already have it. Let me just remove it. So while we are waiting for its removal, I'll just show you the other thing. So if you want to collect the data, I mean, if you want to collect some kind of the log specific data, you want to collect the data from the event log, and you need the data from the application log. So you just type application, and then it will give you an option what all you want to collect from the application log. You want to collect error, warning, and information. So for now, I will say collect errors and the warning, and simply go and save it. In the same way, you can do the monitoring of the performance counter. These are just the examples which are available. There are many more, a lot of performance counters from where you can collect the data. Uh, there can be a Linux specific, the SQL is specific. There are a lot many performance counters. In the same way, you can collect the data from the Linux-based infrastructure, IaaS infrastructure. Simply, you just go and click on this collect W3C format IaaS logs, and then it can do the things. So, okay, let's start the installation. So here, just to set up a connection, you just have to put the right workspace ID and the primary key, and then it's all done. So this installation will just finish in less than 1 minute. So once this installation is done, uh, uh, the machine will start sending out the telemetry data. And as I have shown you, I mean, it's from here, from this advanced setting pane, you can enable the collection of the logs. But it's not only about the logs. I mean, there are many more things which you can collect. There are a lot of inbuilt solutions. So you just have to go to the workspace view. And if you are familiar with the SCOM, the System Center Operations Manager, then you know the management packs. In the same way, we have the solution packs into the Azure Monitor. So if you want to add solution pack, you just click on this add button, and then it will give you an option of enabling many more. So there are lot many solutions. So you have backup. I mean, if you're doing the integration with your Azure, VMs or the Azure resources. You can add any of these solutions. SQL help. It can do the assessment of your SQL infrastructure, and then you can know the status of yours, how your databases are performing, and how actually they are acting. So it is quite easy. I mean, if you are familiar with the SCOM, then you know how painful it is to manage the SCOM, to monitor the SQL infrastructure with SCOM. There are concept of run as account, run as profile associations. Although it's a very powerful tool and it does the great monitoring, but then when it comes to the hybrid infrastructure, when you have SQL or the resources into the any other places, then that tool is not efficient. That's what I feel. So yeah, so far I talked about the on-premises infrastructure. Let me show you how you can do the monitoring of the machines which are hosted inside the Azure. So if you have a virtual machines in your Azure uh, infrastructure and you want to monitor them, then you just have to, for example, here is this machine which is reporting to the other workspace. So you just have to click on this and then click on the connect button, and then that machine will start sending out the data. In the same way, other resources can also send out the data. So for example, let me pick up something called some network interface. So I just want to do the monitoring of the network interface with this Azure Monitor. So I will just pick this one. And what we have to do is we just have to enable the diagnostic setting over it, and then it will start sending out the data. So for example, this is the network interface. So it is actually disabled the diagnostic setting over here. But what you can do is you can come here and just click on the diagnostic setting, and then just name it as a global SOV VM. And I will say send all the metric data to the log analytics workspace. This is the recent workspace which I created, and then just do the save. So in this way, it will also start sending out the diagnostic data from the network interfaces. In the same way, you can send out the data from any other uh, Azure resources. So if you compare this with any other on-premises monitoring tool, although they have the management pack for the Azure monitoring, but configuring those management pack with the System Center Operations Manager or with the other tool, and if you put the Azure Monitor on the other side, then you will feel like the it's quite easy and quite manageable to do it with the Azure Monitor. So that was a quick introduction about the how Azure Monitor works. So let's jump to the another important feature, because today we are not only talking about the monitoring, we will talk about doing the manageability and the management with these Azure Monitor and the Azure Automation. So yeah, so there is another feature or another component into the Azure, which is called Azure Automations. So Azure Automation is for doing the automation. So for example, if you want to control your infrastructure in the way like I will talk about a very simple infrastructure where Azure Automation is used very frequently. So you want to turn off some certain VMs at a specific time, and you want to turn them on at a specific time. So for example, to save the cost, you want to shut down your all the virtual machines which are running into the Azure at around 6 p.m. in the evening, and you want to turn them back again at the 9 a.m. in the morning. So for doing this kind of automation, this is just a very simple example. It can do a great amount of automation. You can create your Azure Automation account and you can create a runbook. Runbook is a piece of a code. I mean, a place where your code will be hosted and you can schedule a runbook. So that runbook can be a PowerShell based runbook, Python based runbook, or there are GUI based runbook which can do these all automations. So this Azure Automation, I mean, with this you can manage your desired state configuration, or you can configure the updates, or you can configure the config management, inventory management. Even it can help you in protecting your infrastructure, or can do the build or the deployment of the resources. So let's configure the Azure Automation. So I mean, if you guys are familiar with the System Center, then you can Azure Automation is something similar to the the System Center Orchestrator. There are many tools in the market which can do the automation. So you can relate these all things with them. So let's create the automation account. So creating the resource, again, the automation account is as simple as we created the Azure Monitor account. It's just the 2, 3 details you have to fill up, and then just simply click on the create, and then it will do the things for you. So this deployment will just finish in, as I said, it's a very easy thing. So just 1 or 2 minutes. So I will quickly jump to the ready-made solution. So here you can have a many type of runbook which can do the things for you. So for my infrastructure, I created a lot of runbook which simply stop the Azure VM at a specific time. So this is a PowerShell based code. You just have to write a PowerShell based code which can trigger the stop of the Azure VM. So here I have configured that PowerShell code, and this code executes at a specific time. So with help of the schedule, I can execute this code at specific time. So this execute every day at around 11 p.m., which turns off the machine. And as I said, like we are doing the hybrid infrastructure, so I have a run book which do the shutdown of the machines. So for example, here is one run book which does the shutdown of my this laptop. Uh, so here I simply used a very simple code which turn off my machine at a specific time. So I have hard coded the laptop name, which will run the shutdown command. But the question is how this particular uh, piece of code will communicate with the on-premises, because if it's cloud to cloud, then we can think of there may be a connection within the Azure which do the things. But how about uh, triggering this into my on-premises infrastructure? So there comes the concept of hybrid runbook worker. So this is like a very important, and I mean, I feel like a very interesting topic which give you a power of controlling the on-premises infrastructure. So by default, whenever you are it executes in the Azure sandbox, and through that sandbox, it resources which are there into the Azure. However, if it comes to the your own infrastructure, so what you have to do is, it does that you have to execute for first identify the machines which you want to configure as a hybrid runbook worker. So this machines can be a machine in your own on-premises infrastructure which will have connectivity with all the resource which you want to control. So we identify one particular laptop or a machine which will communicate with all the other resources. So you just have to run 4 5 PowerShell command, and then your hybrid runbook worker is ready, which can do the things for you. So then, whenever you are executing the runbook, I mean, let me show you. So, for example, so from here, even I'm controlling the AWS VM is the shutdown of a AWS VM. So what we can do is we have to just start this runbook rather than running this on the Azure. We can just run it on the hybrid runbook worker. So this is my hybrid runbook worker, which is gonna send out the stop signal there. So I will just execute it, and we will see after some time into the Azure Monitor what's the state of this particular machine. So now this code will execute on that particular machines, which is in the AWS cloud. This way, I mean, I talked about the shutdown, but there are many things in the on-premises infrastructure, like configuring the backup or configuring the some automation for saving the cost or many other things. So that's about the automation, how you can do the automation and how hybrid runbook worker can do the things. There are other advantages of the hybrid runbook worker as well. For example, there could be some limitations in your Azure Automation sandbox. For example, it cannot run the Java code, or for example, just giving you an example, you want to run a code which has the modules specific to your environment. Then what you can do is, although you can import those modules in the Azure also, but for the thing to maintaining it more efficiently, you can configure your hybrid runbook worker because it's a sandbox where the code will run. So you can install any kind of module on that hybrid runbook worker, and which will do the automation for you. And there is a limitation because Azure Automation is a public, it's hosted on the public cloud. So there is a limit called fair share limit. So that limit is something the limited amount of the resources will be provided for your run book. So for example, if you know your code is extensive and it needs good amount of resources, then you can execute the similar code into the hybrid run book worker, because hybrid run book worker is you can run the code for indefinite time, or lot of things you can do. So another important piece that I talk at the start of the session is, because nobody only want the monitoring, people want the auto corrections of the problem. So what we can do is, in the Azure Monitor you can configure the alerting. Alerting is like that will alert you when something goes wrong. So for example, let me show you. I configured some of the alerting here. So I created a alert trigger which triggers a notification whenever any, like I configured a service called Expert Live India. It was a important service which was running in my infrastructure. So if it stops, then send out the notification. So I configured in such a way, like whenever I have this alert trigger, is it's gonna trigger the automation. So for triggering the automation, we just have to create the action group. Action group is just the thing which you want to do. Like there are many options. You can send out the email notification or the SMS or pop-ups on through the Windows app, or you can call any kind of automation through Azure Automation or through the Azure function. So what I did is I created a runbook which will trigger the repair, which will try to start my service. So this is the Expert Live India start service. That was our automation runbook. So let me show you the runbook code. I mean, it's just a two-liner code, but this, whenever this service stops, it's gonna trigger that automation in my infrastructure. start the service. So it has just a simple PowerShell code which will simply start the thing. So this is my simple code. However, you can have your extensive code or the heavyweight code which can do the lot many kind of automation. So we will just get the name of this the impacted service in this code, and then from there just simply starting that service. So in this way, like I have demoed it in the way that that's my critical service, and if it stops, I cannot afford the stop of the service. So I will immediately start it with the automation. So how it works is I will just try to do it in this format. So how I build this resiliency in the infrastructure is the resources will be whatever the resources I am monitoring, they will be sending out the telemetry data into the log analytics workspace. So with that data, what I will be doing is you can project that data over the dashboards and you can export it or you can have it on over the Power BI, and you can also generate a alert. So in that last example, we have executed the alerting. And through the alerting, what you can do is you can either raise a ITSM connector, which will raise a ticket into the service now, because the raising a ticket and maintaining the ITSM life cycle is very much important when you deal with the things in the workplace and mobility or the uh, when you work in an infrastructure where reporting is important, then you definitely need a integration with ITSM. You can have your custom code which can raise the tickets in a different formats as well. So this way you can send out the notification. You can it means like you are informing the people that something went wrong. And other way is like you are triggering the automation. So here I was just triggering the automation runbook, which is going to fix my infrastructure. Not only the automation, you can do the logic apps or the Azure functions for doing it. And then it will simply bring back the thing. So another important thing that I talked about, like for example, if you are managing a very small infrastructure and you don't need a heavyweight monitor, then you can easily utilize the Azure automation and the uh, Azure Monitor, because it's a cost-effective solution. Also, here you don't have to worry about licensing. Whatever the data you are sending it to the workspace and whatever the automation you are using it, you just have to pay for it. So the management of the update is also a very important piece when it comes to the manageability of the infrastructure. So here again, it is very easy. I mean, I am using this word again and again. It's easy because the things are really very easy. So I'm just saying that you can easily do this stuff. So let me show you, I mean, how you can do the update. I mean, how update management look like is to set up a update management. What you have to do is you just have to go to the automation account and select that update management and just set up the update management. So although okay, I may not be able to do it in this new workspace because right now it is not supported, but you just have to fill up the form. It will automatically identify the log analytics workspace and the Azure automation account. So I have already configured this in this particular automation. So here you can go to the update management and you can see how your machines are behaving in terms of the update. So I can see that like uh, one out of one machine is non-compliant, and here you can see this particular machine is non-compliant because I have not done the proper update of this, or here are the missing updates. And for example, like if you want to schedule an update, so what we will do is we will just try to schedule an update for this particular AWS machine. This is machine, and I will say like install all these critical updates over it. If you want to exclude any kind of update, then you can just exclude it from here. And yeah, when you want to do the update, so tomorrow I will just schedule it for tomorrow because it's a weekend, so maybe that machine may not be in use. So I will just make it as a 25 and just run it at 9 p.m. and then select the time zone as anything. Let me just select the Hong Kong time zone, and this is the maintenance window. So that machine, this update deployment will happen it for this particular duration. And if you want to do any kind of post script thing, you can do it from here, like auto stop, or get alert, or anything. I mean, these are my runbook which can do the automation. And if you want to reboot the machine, you can say never reboot or always reboot, and just click on the create, and then it will do the things for you. It will automatically uh, deploy the updates, and like when the update window is over, your machines will be uh, ready, and it will not be non-compliant. So this is the deployment schedule, which is gonna run it for one time. So yeah, I mean, this is how you can do the update management, because update management is a very important thing when it comes to the manageability of the infrastructure. So another important piece is called inventory and the management. I mean, just to get a inventory of your operate, like of your infrastructure, what all resources you have, and you can track the changes also, like how the changes are happening into the infrastructure. This will also give you a reporting features with which you can identify. So let me show you how you can configure the inventory management and the change tracking. So you just have to go to the Azure Automation and just come here as a change tracking, and it will just give you information about uh, the type of changes happening into the infrastructure. So just loading that data. Yeah. So these are the particular event generated. These are the Windows services whose status have changed, or there are many things, registry changes, or these are the things which keep changing in my infrastructure. In the same way, you can have the inventory management also. So inventory will give you about what all inventory is there. I mean, so I have around 7 machines. These 557 software are installed on it. Windows service, these are the services running there, Linux daemons, and many more things. So this is how you can do the change tracking as well. So yeah, so that was about the manageability of the infrastructure. So to do these all activities, what you have to do is you just have to set up Azure Automation account and the Azure Monitor, and then just set up the integration by enabling any of the features like inventory or the change tracking, and it will just set up the things. Uh, and then you can control it. So you can do the manageability of the infrastructure. You can build up the resiliency in the infrastructure, as well as you can do the monitoring. So let me show you, I mean, what level of monitoring you can do it. So this is my log analytics workspace, and in which I created many more workspace for many more solutions and the dashboard, which uh, help me in finding out how my infrastructure behave and how I do the how is the performance of my infrastructure. So here are the dashboards. Have questions. If anyone have a question, just post it to the chat window, because we are at the end of the session. I'm just sure, like I covered the how you can do the monitoring and the manageability right now, just showing some added advantages, how you can how the data will appear there on the dashboards. So this dashboard shows about the availability of my machines. I mean, I can see around under the availability there are around five type of data is sent by this particular thing. There is a AWS machines, and there uh, and these all the DCs are there. I can view the performance data. Here is the SQL health check that will help me in analyzing how my SQL is behaving and how it is performing. So we can view of that data there into the SQL. So when you open these kind of dashboards for very first time, it just take 1 or 2 minutes, and after that the things will be stable. While it is loading up the data, I will show you the other stuff. So we uh, trigger the shutdown of the machine. So we will see whether that the machine that we shut down, is it sending out the heartbeat signal, because heartbeat signal is just uh, sent out by the all the machines will send out the heartbeat data in every like 1 or 2 minutes. They send out the heartbeat data. So we're time. I'm just running a query. I mean, to in order to find out uh, any telemetry data, if you want to review, sorry, the telemetry data, you just have to run the query. There are a lot of inbuilt query which are there, so you can have that also. Yeah, this is how the SQL dashboard looks like. So right now I can see that this is security and the compliance. My secure SQL environment is secure. From the like there are some issues recommendations, so you can view their recommendation, what are their recommendation. In the same way, like this is the SQL, there are assessments back for the active directory for the domain controllers as well, so you can check their health as well. So yeah, I mean, the more you goes into, the more information you will have. So this is how it looks like. These all things. This is will show you the things about the update assessment. So there are a lot of things, lot of different kind of monitoring, and it's only not limited to the Windows or to the machines which are running into the Azure. It can do the Linux monitoring. You can do the Kubernetes or containers monitoring. Lot of things you can do it. And when it comes to the automation, so the options which I have shown you, those are inbuilt automation. You if you are uh, if you have a good PowerShell runbook, then you can control any kind of infrastructure. Even you can control it with the Python code and many other things. It can do the desired state configuration. So in short, like whenever you do the Azure Monitor as well as the Azure Automation, it will help you in doing the manageability of the infrastructure. It can help you in monitoring the monitoring the infrastructure, and if something goes wrong, then it can trigger the automation. You can have the dashboards which will analyze the health of your infrastructure. You can do the quick deployment of the resources with help of Azure DSC, PowerShell scripts, and many more things. You can even control the cost of the infrastructure, deployment of the machines, assessing the machines, and it can also do the integration with the ITSM tools and data tools. So yeah, that was all about how you can do the manageability and the monitoring of the infrastructure. So once again, thank you for joining this session, and I'm really sorry. I mean, this is just a free edition of GoTo webinar because this time we have to bring our own webinar tool. So I think due to which this uh, audience, I cannot. I mean, the audio button for audience is disabled, so that I mean we can't have the that interactive session. But you can post your questions in the chat window. I will just try to respond to it. So I'm just waiting for the question. Hopefully, you all enjoyed the session and you got a quick view about, I mean, how you can do the things. So yeah, I mean, I think there are no questions from the audience. So what I will do is I will just share my email ID so you can post your questions there, or I mean, let me share this presentation as well. I will just try to drop it in this session. So just a minute. So this is the presentation. I hope you all will get it. So I'm gonna put my email ID in the chat also. So you guys can post your questions there. So I'll wait for your question. And thanks again for joining this session, and uh, stay safe at home. And yeah, once the things come back, we will go again out and work from our offices and do the monitoring from there. So yeah, thanks everyone. Stopping the session now.